Hello. All right. Time to get started. I want to just got to do some housekeeping stuff. Hopefully a few people saw the stream announcement and will be joining us. And I think this is good. Let me just mute my feedback. And I just got to put some music on for myself, and then we will be ready to go. Where's my Spotify? All right, so we got a busy day today. Let's see how far we get. I want to try to figure out how to get tiled to work. So we got tiled. We've got some pixel art stuff. I actually I brought over a new version of the game creator. Let's put this guy in here and take a look at where we left off yesterday. We did we were working on some basic Metroid stuff, and I was just testing out the artwork as I brought it over. I feel like this came out pretty good. What I wanted to do today was, I'm sort of torn. I want to let's see here. So I brought over this blob example, Dragon Sweeper, random map gen. I have a few different things. Where is resources? I have like different auto tiles and stuff that I wanted to play around with. But what I downloaded yesterday, so where we left off yesterday was I wanted to do auto tiling. I have a basic template that I use for auto tiles, and this is something that Andrew and I had created, and I had basically I started looking up yesterday how Tiled does auto tiling, and I found this project that does rules. And what I wanted to find out, the tile width is 64. I don't know if I can get this to work correctly. So like, long story short, let's do auto tile map drawing while drawing, and we'll select this. So what I found this template. I don't know a whole lot about how tiles, auto tile stuff works, but I sort of got this like basic idea of it, and I'm just trying to figure out how to like organize myself today and see what we want to build, because I have this rule set here, and the problem is that if I change this to 16 by 16, does it like break everything? Yeah, that's sort of what I thought. What I figure I need to do here is I feel like I need to recreate this whole rule system, and I like really have no clue how it actually works. Input set, output terrain, regions output, and input set. Like let's hide all these things. This is the input set, right? The output, so input region outputs that. Output terrain, so input from set. I don't know how this works. Somebody made this rule set, and this rule set has all the stuff that I need to get working. So let's do this. Let's close this out and quit this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a copy of this, and we're gonna call this auto tile example. And what I want to do is I'm going to go in and I want to actually change the open with, can I open this with the text editor? I wonder what this TMX file, I believe this is just straight text. I did some research yesterday sort of into how, oh, Adam's doing its stupid thing today. Open with other Adam. I guess Adam doesn't want to load today. There we go. Encoding base 64. All right, so that's just putting the PNG stuff in there. Okay, so what I'm thinking of doing is let's see if we can get this. Let's see if we can resize this to be 64 by 64, and then from there we can, or actually it'd be 16 by 16, and then we can start figuring out how to redo this. So. I feel like there's a way that I can edit this. All right, let's just do this live. All right, I'm gonna start the timer, and for cleaning up pixel art, yeah, we're working on setting up tile. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change this to 16 by 16. Oops, I didn't mean to close that. The set. I'm going to modify, view properties. Let's make this 16 by 16. I'm going to just try to change all the terrain sizes and then go into Photoshop and fix them too. And see if we can get this at least to match up closer to what I have. 16 by 16 by 16. And let's open this up. I don't know if this is going to work. Let me see here. If it was 64 by 6, what the? I don't know why it just opened up chess and why I needed 1.6 gigs to download. Calculator. So wait, 16 divided by 64 is 0.25%. So 0.25%. Oh wait, I see. 25%. We'll get this down to here. And now what I want to make sure is that this is 8 by 8. Right, so this is 16 by 16, but it's got padding around each of the tiles. Let me just make sure that this worked. Right, so it's now 16 by 16, and each of these tiles are now padded. So let's save this, and let's go into here to the rule set. And we're going to make this 25% of its original size, which should get this down to everything is now 16 by 16. Perfect. And now, what I wanted to see, this is probably just like breaking, literally breaking everything. The other thing I want to do is go into the rules and set this to 16 by 16 and see, all right, that did something. Terrain tiles are 16 by 16. and the set is 16 by 16. Well, it's saved all this, but now it's all broken. Mini map. Rah. Right, because this is now 16 by 16, but it's not connected to the image correctly. This is the rules. I want the actual tile map. Set terrain. I wonder why this is still set to 64 by 64 objects. Minimap. Terrain, custom properties, set, resize map. Map properties, 16 by 16. Yeah, so I've broken all of this, which is fine. Whoops, and I hit the mic, which is not fine. I wonder how we can do this. I don't know how to like resize stuff. And let's quit this. Don't save any of this. Move to trash. All right, so that didn't work. Yeah, I'm already a supporter. I bought a copy. All right, so how do we, let's open up Chrome and see if we can figure this out. This is sort of going to be my warm-up right now, is tiled, resize, tile size. Changing a tile size. I'm not exactly what you expect at the start. You can change your map size to 30 of the map properties. So there's no way to have to. Let's try this again. So if the tile width is 64 by 64 and the rule set tile terrain, let's see if we can change this. How do you go back to the I don't know, tiled seems incredibly powerful, but I don't really know what I'm doing with it. So set this to 16 by 16. Then what I need to figure out though is I don't know why this is still tile properties. I don't know why this is still set to 64 by 64 in the image. So there must be something else that I need to do. Because I tried to set this to set. Let's see. Tile set properties. Here we go. All right, so we're going to set this guy to 16 by 16, 16 by 16. Hit OK. Wait, let me redo this. Let's try this approach first. I think what I want to do is let me resize this and let's just see if we can get this 25%. Okay. And then no, make this 16 by 16. Rule set. Why didn't this, I should have had this thing update. Because now if I save this, it's going to like break. All right, let me, and it's broken. Why tile set properties 16 by 16, go to the rule set, and we're going to make this 16 by 16 and hit OK. Why is it giving me so many tiles? All right, so round 2. Let's make this 16 by 16. Then it's going to overlap all the stuff, which is fine. Here we're going to go to this tile set. We're going to go to tile set properties, and we're going to make this 16 by 16, but we're going to change the rule set to be 16 by 16. And let's go in and update the file real quick. Rule set, and make this 25% of its size. Save it, close, and update that. All right, cool. So now this is now the right size. Then the tile set is incorrect. So we need to set this to 16 by 16. We're going to use this tile set as 16 by 16 and hit OK. And now this set is saved. And then we're going to go into the terrain. And we're going to edit the terrain. We're going to make this 16 by 16. And we'll set this to 16 by 16. And then, no, stop opening this. Holy. I hate when Spotlight. So the margin, let me see what the margin winds up becoming. Once we go into here and we change this to 25% of itself, the margin is now 3. Oh, that's not good. Let's, we're going to do some moving around here. We'll set that to 2. Basically, there's like a margin around these things. So let's set that to 2, 2, 2, 2. And then this should be 2 between each of these. So basically, I'm just resizing these tiles so I can get the rules to work. 2, 2. All right, image, crop, and let's just make sure that the padding is correct all the way around. All right, so now when we go to resize this, the margin is 2 and the spacing is 2. We're setting this to 16 by 16 and hitting OK. And now this looks correct. So technically, what should happen now is if I set this to auto map while drawing and I start drawing, oh, I need to go back. It's sort of working. I need to fix the linkage on the rules. So let me go back into here and go to the rules. And now in the rules, we need to make this 16 by 16. And I think the problem here is that all of the tile set got messed up. So let's change this to 16 by 16. We'll change the rule set. Hopefully changing all this will fix what I broke. All right, that brought the rule set back. Let's go to this here. And now this is 16 by 16. Oh man, if this works, I'll be very happy. Because then I can just rebuild the template. And then I can start doing auto tiling. There we go. They're looking good. Looking good. The only thing that I'm noticing here that's sort of weird is set. It's not linking the terrain correctly. Why is that? Visible. Map auto tile. So it looks like some of this is correct, but then I don't know. I really don't understand how they relink all of this. 16 by 16, good. The rules are saved. Region output input set. I would really love to know how the hell this thing is set up. Oh, I found this on the internet. So, you know, I'm close. I'm close. Like, now these tiles are correct. This tile set is correct. The rules are correct. Output terrain. Map terrain. This is good. This is good. This looks good. The rule set looks good. Now, let me save the map. And then basically what's happening is I believe the auto tiling stuff is working, but it's not linked up correctly to, it's not outputting the terrain correctly. What? And I had this problem before. Let me open up the original and see what I... it seems to work fine here. What is different? I have the rule set. So let's go to rule set. I'm in set. There we go. Oh, it works. It works. Oh, wow. All right. That's awesome. Because now that this works, I can just redo... that's interesting. It doesn't have an edge case there. But that's cool. All right. This works. All right. So let me close this out. I just have to draw with the rule set. What's this rule set? All right, let me erase some of this stuff. So, okay. I don't know why there's two rule sets now. I think that came from the other... project. I think I just need this rule set. There we go. But it's right. If we do blue, that just... blue just gives you water. All right. I sort of have an idea now of what's happening here. My understanding of how the auto tiling rules work is... I just don't understand this purple stuff. Oh, this should be 16 by 16. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. I see. Wait. Don't save there, dummy. You're opening in the wrong. Open the wrong file. So in this rule set, what's happening is I wonder what these purple tiles are. All right, so long story short is that I can now build a basic template from this. I just have to re-piece together how this stuff worked. And I have some different tiles that, what I think I said to do is I have to reorganize. I have to reorganize our auto tile set. So, all right. How would we do this? So, all right, there's a few challenges that I've had. One of which is that I still don't really get what I'm doing here, but let me go through this piece by piece and sort of understand. All right, so this is a region input, and this is a region output, which is just this one tile. Then there's the input set, then an output terrain. My educated guess is that there's some like little hacking going on here where basically you input something like this and it outputs like if you build this, it outputs that region's input. So yeah, I really don't know what the hell's going on. I'd be lying if I knew. If you're just joining, I'm trying to just understand. I found this template online that does auto tiling in Tiled, and I have a template. I have a template that does this. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to match back up my template with this. All right, so long story short, let's open up the blob example. And what I need to look at is how I can remap over, where are we? Unfortunately, the tile map, the auto mapping for this one is not going to be as easy to follow. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it would. Let's take a look at it. So what I want to do is, let's just save this out real quick. Does this still work? All right. So the goal of what we're going to try to do is get basic auto tiling working with my template. But once I can get that, I can actually generate out some pretty cool maps. And what I want to do for Ludum Dare is probably like a little endless runner, but I need to paint out those tile map sections, and Pixel Vision 8's tile map editor isn't up for the task. So let's quit this. We're going to call this auto tile 16 by 16, or we'll just call this auto tile example. All right, then I'm going to copy all of this over. I think, well, there's some stuff that we probably need to do first, but what I want to get done is let's go to the workspace and take a look at the current sandbox. Now we have I have this sprite set here, but what I'm afraid of is that it's going to be like too hard to figure this crap out. So I need to just go to I need to go to one of my tile maps that that works. Now, hold on. Blob tile template. There are all different types of blob tile sets, which are pretty interesting. If you don't like, if you've never like really looked at these like seamless tile set, trying to find. I used to have like an original. I originally used to have like a template, 7x7. Like this is the other way to do it, is to use the Wang tiles, which I don't. There's some other really cool template that I saw. This would be the like this is the other way to sort of figure this out, which would be Tiled supports Wang tiles, and it wasn't using Wang tiles. It wasn't terribly clear here how they set it up. Like, I believe there's like what I was hoping for is that there's a general activating the Wang brush. What I was really hoping for was that there was a 2-corner, 2-edge, and blob. Wang tiles are support up to 15 edges and 15 corner color tiles in a single set. Now, 2-edge and 2-corner Wang tiles. Now, this is the minimum packing. This is a 6x8 layout and a 7x7 layout. And what I'd have to figure out is there's all kinds of math about how to do this sort of like bit shift tile stuff, which is really cool. And it's like, it basically boils down to like, you take all the sides and you add them up. I did a whole course on this from Linda. What I'm trying to figure out is, it might make sense to actually just use the Wang tile, and that was the next thing I was going to try to figure out how to do. I wonder if let me see what this image looks like, because it's easier for me to set up the image in that way. No, this needs to be, each of these are 32 by 32. Wang tiles are supported. All right, I see my Pomodoros up. So basically, we're cleaning up pixel art and we are trying to set up tiled for auto tile completion. Once I figure this out, I'll be able to actually create like this all programmatically. The name, image, and of course the colors can be changed in the appearance. So this is path, this is grass, and a walkway. This one looks like super complicated to set up. Use the maze generator or stage tile explorer guarantees that all areas are reachable. So there's a lot of like really cool stuff that we could do with this. What I'm trying to figure out right now is how I would set. See other tile sets, 7x7 arrangement. So the idea is that if I set this tile map up this way, I could just redo the template to fit this, and this would be the new template. It would be a more standardized way. Now, what is a 2-edge? Right, so this is like a way more simplified way of doing it. And I could do all kinds of different. Oh, that one looks really cool. Now I want to build a racing game. 2-edge, 2-corner. I just don't know the difference between. Right, 2 corners are when you match things up by their corner. I don't want that. I want 2-edge. So Wang two. So this is 4 order. Where's 3 edge? There we go. That one's way more complicated. I want blob tile set. So, all right, this is the problem with this right now is that when I look at this tile set, what's basically happening is that it's not taking into account edge cases. So if I was to come up with this, I have a tile set right here, which does all the math for how this works. My counting is a little bit off, but it's based more on the way that I calculate it with bit shifting. What I'm trying to figure out is what the best way to approach this in tiled is. I think I'm going to go with... That would be like a lot simpler. All right, let's do this. I'm going to swap out this example. Let me just make sure. I just want to make sure that, whoops. I just want to make sure that this is saved correctly. Upgrade droid art pack. Specs are locked. Save, quit. All right, great. Let me archive this. Now, I'm going to go back here to my games and let's do Jump and Shoot Man and edit this one. And you'll see this one, the tile set's a little bit easier to follow. And what I'm going to do is try to just remap this tile set based on that layout. It should just be this, and it should be pretty straightforward to do. Let's see if we get this to work. My thinking next is that we go to transfer. Where did I where the hell did I save all that? Where did I save all that stuff that I was just doing? Tiled. Downloads. I see. Okay. All right. Don't yell at me. Users, studio, download, auto tile example. Perfect. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all this stuff over into the project, and then we're going to try to just basically replace it piece by piece. Now, we can move this to the trash. We'll keep the rule set. Rules map. And we have the blob example. Now, all right, delete this and close that out. What we're going to do is we're going to open up this blob example. And then we're going to open up the let's see here. I'm going to create a new file. We'll paste this guy down, and we're going to save this to the sandbox, and we're going to call this blob. We'll call this autotiles.png. What I'd like to try to figure out how to do, and maybe this is something that's built into Pixel Vision 8, is that if you provide a auto tile, let me close this out. Don't save. What I'd love to do is get to the point where, like, if you created an auto tile PNG and a tile map, whatever the first tile is would just automatically auto tile and remap to this, and I can do all that programmatically. Although we're going to run into some issues with the fact that these tiles are 16 by 16 when they should be 8 by 8. I don't know, we'll have to figure. It's going to take me some time before I come up with a way to automate this. What I'm hoping to at least do in the interim is get, I gotta switch this grid over to 16 by 16. Grid and slice, make the 16 by 16 with a 1 subdivision. All right, so let's take this and we're just going to paste it here. So for the most part, this shouldn't be terribly hard to remap. What would happen is that this is the clear tile. And then this guy just goes over here. Oh no, that's not going to work. I got to get it on the grid because I'm going to... There we go. So that goes here. This goes here. Once we get this working correctly, once I understand the system, I'm really good at taking things apart and figuring out how to automate them. So right now the mission is to just simply get the pixel art template relayed out to match this template. Then what I'll probably wind up doing is, if you're just joining us, we're doing auto tiling and I'm trying to use tiled. Normally I just calculate this on the fly with the code, but I would love to be able to come up with a very basic sort of auto tiling system. If I remember correctly, I think, what's Adam Saltzman's old engine, game engine? Flixel? I think Flixel did auto tiling by default. So that's sort of where we would go with this kind of example. I found this one online, so I'm just trying to match up their template with what I normally had. Once I really understand how this works, I will probably remap this whole thing over to this, because this one's easier to calculate based on the math. But there's all kinds of ways that we can do it. I think this one actually uses a lookup table. So, oh, my brain hurts like looking at this. I got to figure out what's the inside and what's the outside, and then once I agree on that, then I'll be able to get everything working. Where's the single tile? Oh, it's right there. Okay. So this goes here. (16 by 16). Why is that? There we go. All right, so I believe I can just save this now. And let's open up this tile map. And hopefully it'll just use the... There we go. All right. Not bad. Yeah, it works. All right, so what we just got to do is just figure out some of these like missing pieces, right? And how we want to lay it out. But for the most part, that works. All right, that works really good. Because then the goal is that if I can get tiled up and running, I can actually just... I'm going to create a bunch of like level templates and then stitch them together. And in order to do sort of like a Mega Man or a Metroid Endless Runner, you would just wind up with these sort of different... you would end up with these sort of different levels. So the way I'm thinking of it, it's... I got to stand for a second. I forgot to like stand and stretch. What... I'll open up the artwork while I stretch so that I can sort of give you guys some context, right? But like the goal is for like... So for this jump and shoot man, what we'd wind up doing is we would simply generate out a tile map. and on the top of the tile map, it would be the buffer area for where the level gets generated. The bottom of the tile map would be all the different tile templates. And as the player runs through the tile map, I'll just sample from these different pre-generated tile map areas. And it's going to take a lot of trickery to get this to sort of work. But my hope is that once I figure out how I want to do this, I can build this stuff all into Pixel Vision 8 and we can start getting some like really cool sort of effects going. Okay, so now what we need to figure out is what the inside is and what the outside is, right? So I believe like this is this. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how this works. Maybe it's this, I think it's this inside piece. But why don't I have like a did Andrew do like this piece right here? I believe this piece is that. All right, let's do this. Let's simplify this for a second. Let's come here and let's start testing this out. So we need an L now. So that piece right here should be an outer edge with an inside. I wish I could just do this programmatically. Is it? No, it's got to have an edge here and an edge here. Well, fuck if I know. How did he come up with this template? What piece looks like it belongs there? This is like an awful puzzle I now need to figure out. These ones were really easy. That was pretty straightforward. So let's see. If I was to do this just off the top of my head, well, okay. I have one alternative way to do this. Let's go to projects. I actually have water tiles, art packs, dragon sweeper. I wonder if I used something that looked more like what this water really was. Oh no, these tiles were inside out because they were drawn in reverse to match up to the land. No, that's going to make it even more complicated. Well, we're going to do this the old-fashioned way, I guess. Let me think. Let's look at this for a second. We can just match up these patterns because technically anything with an outside border is this edge, right? Let me look at... I need the original. Wonder if Andrew would be better at doing this than me. Maybe he remembers how the hell we did this. Hey, I'm preparing for Ludum. I've been all right. How have you been? I just I'm sort of lost right now. I don't think that this actually follows the same pattern. Let me I wonder if I just copy this. Let me put this here and save it. Let's see what happens. All right, so we're getting closer. See, what we're missing is I might have to actually just make these tiles myself. I think that's what's going on, because I think I think the way that Andrew had envisioned these tiles was like, we have like a different pattern for how to do this. And I think I'm just going to have to come up with my own sort of system. So let's, because basically what I need to do is, all right, so let's go back and we're going to, yeah, it just doesn't match up correctly. That's fine. What we need to do is I'm going to just build all the tiles that I need to build. And we're just going to treat the fact that this white edge is basically the border. And I'm going to build... He had done some stuff where it like... Some of it might be in here. I can't see it. Like, this is a piece and this is a piece. This piece right here should be this. And then there should be like a reverse of it. Maybe not. Wait, maybe this piece is... No, it looks like that piece. I suck at puzzles. Just throwing that out there. Because what I'm trying to imagine is the... what I'm trying to imagine is that the water is the outer white. And I'm just going to look for things that match up to that, right? So how do we get... So that works. Sorry, so we're just going to do this like piece by piece, right? So if we start here, this is good. Let's figure out how we can get this L. So that L should be right here. So somewhere around here should be something with a white piece curved down on the outer edge of itself. Oh, glad to see you saw the email. Yeah, I've been migrating over people to my website now, so hopefully when I get a chance to re-update stuff, it'll work out really well. Sorry, I'm not even speaking English because I'm trying to think. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off the stuff that I'm going to try to mask off the stuff that I've already used. So I've used, where was that piece? That was that piece. And what I think I need to do is I need to save this as a PNG and keep the layers going. So like here, I need to be able to reference this. Let me delete this, delete this. All right, my goal is to, get this masked off in a way where it actually like makes sense. If you're just joining, I'm just trying to figure out how to redo this auto tiling template thing. And once I get that sorted out, I can move on in my life in many ways. So let's see here. What I'm looking for now is, I'm just going to go piece by piece and try to get I think the next thing that I want to do is let's do this. This is going to be like really weird, but just follow me for a second. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on a single tile at a time. Right? And let's save this PNG out. And then what we're going to do is we're coming back into here. And now I'm going to what we're going to do is let's look at this tile first. Or actually, which one were we looking at here? I was trying to get this L, right? So that should be from here to there. From here, so that should be this right here. I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm like smart. I'm just persistent, and I guess I'm clever in the sense that I'll take this a piece at a time and just sort of, if I have to go through every iteration, I'll just do that. All right, so that's what we're looking for right now. So now I'm just going to look for random pieces and see what fits. So what I'm looking for is something that has an edge to it. On this side and an outer lip. It can't be like that. It's got to have... See, this is where I'm starting to think that this doesn't really match up correctly. Because what my gut's telling me is that this piece right here is actually the piece. But what I need to do is add something like this to the inside of it. Where the hell did that get copied down? Like that's what I'm actually looking for. And in fact, if we save it, let's save this. There we go. All right. So it looks like what I'm just missing is now maybe he has this here and I can't see it. Like I can't focus on these geometric shapes. It's like it's too like where would that one be? That would be so let's see. That would be this right here. I guess that's what I need to do is just piece by piece paste it down and look for where it matches up. There we go. That's a much better approach. We're going to do it, guys. We're going to actually get this done. How cool is that? All right. This is driving me nuts. All right, I see. I want to get rid of this. And I want to create a real mask. Down here, so that when I start masking this stuff off, it'll work correctly. I don't know why that got screwed up. That's wrong. Something there got messed up. Let's fix that real quick. Uh, I don't know why that got screwed up, but let's just do this. We're going to copy half of it, paste it, and then we'll just flip this. Edit, transform, flip horizontal. And delete the one under it. There we go, much better. All right, so now I can start masking this thing off correctly. In fact, what we're going to do is let's delete this and we'll make this fill 50% so I get to see what the hell's going on. And now what we need to do is just keep going through and copying over pieces. That I believe was this. All right, so all the pieces are there. I just couldn't see it. Sometimes my brain has trouble focusing on lots of patterns and stuff like that. So just going piece by piece through this will help me find the answers. I had to take it out of the pattern. Where would this one fit? I think that's these ones here. There we go. I have to say, Andrew is a really good pixel artist. I don't know if a lot of people follow him, 2D Heroes on Twitter, and he's on Twitch too. But he just gets this stuff. Meanwhile, I'm just sort of muddling through it. But I think we got it. Now the only thing that sort of stinks is that the Metroid one that he did, the Metroid art, the tiles are really hard to see. So we'll start with Mega Man. I mean, it would be only fitting that at this Ludum Dare I actually do a endless runner Mega Man. I'd be my boys' heroes. I'm glad that I was able to get my my boys into Mega Man. All right, so. What I just got to figure out now is I don't know where this one would go. Maybe it was these two, right? Was that it? So let me delete this real quick, and then we'll just put it down. Yeah, so that goes here. I have no idea how that. There we go. All right, so that goes here. All right, let's do a. So what theme am I rooting for? I haven't even looked at the themes. I don't even. Honestly, I don't even do the theme. I just build a game that I want to build in the weekend and call it a day. Let's see here. All right, so we still got some more work to do. What I was trying to do was, I think it stinks. We had some really cool inner decoration stuff that I don't think is going to translate over well. But let's take a look. This might just be a much simpler template. All right, so that works. Where? All right, so that goes here. I think that's this. Oh wow, this is so much easier now. Having so much fun, I forgot to look at the Pomodoro timer. So, all right, let me do 2 more of these, and then we'll take a quick break. It's important to stretch, kids. As someone who's slowly limping into his 40s, sitting at a computer all day is just like not fun on my body. All right, so there we go. All right, so we're getting closer. Let's take a break. All right, stretching time. I need to get like a yoga video or something. Yeah, all right, I'm super excited this is gonna work. I think Andrew had some extra tiles that we're probably not gonna wind up using. Maybe we will. Maybe these inner ones here will just become that and it'll look really good. But sorry, I was just getting a message. So, okay, where did we leave off? All right, I'm not gonna do this the full 5 minutes thing. If you guys are wondering, I use this Pomodoro timer here. That's a task list called Pomo To Do, and it helps to remind me to actually like take a break from sitting at the computer all day. All right, so let's see. We now need... Where would this piece go? I feel like... it's this right here. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to remap this. But I'm getting... I could probably use Pixvision 8 to remap it. Okay, I'll figure that out later. So, so I think the next step that I got to figure out here is going to be how do I actually get these templates to use tiles that are 8x8 and then break this thing up a little bit more. I will look into that later. What I'll probably wind up doing is I just want to get a little tool going that gets me through Ludum Dare. Afterwards, I will look into how to do this properly and wait, I'm moving peoples that were right. I'm moving stuff that was right. What do you mean? I think no, these are all match. These should all match up. That looks good. I think I'm good. Well, we'll find out. If anything, I can always go back and fix some of these. Let's let me see here. Let me finish these up and then we'll do a sanity check. Shit, that like spawned way below where I wanted it to be. All right, so this must be the inner stuff now. right. I feel like I'm missing a few pieces, but I feel like I'm missing some stuff that probably wasn't in this, and that's probably what I'm gonna need to make. But we'll keep poking around until we figure out everything. Like, it looks like I'm missing these like edge pieces here. And I think because like this edge, I think these two are wrong. That's probably what's going on here. Because if we save this out, interesting. All right, yeah. So okay, so I think we're just missing like we're missing that we have. So we just got to figure out these corner pieces. Right? Like that inner corner piece and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So that's stuff we can fix really easily. I say that like with a grain of salt. What I would probably wind up doing is, I wonder if it is this piece. Like maybe I feel like I'm missing a set. Like that, the inner pieces might work. It's the outer pieces. They don't have the border. Those two that you have left on the right are actually those two that are missing. Yeah. Yeah, that fixed the inside stuff. Right? What's missing now are some of these like little edge cases like that. Like if I did hold on. Like that kind of stuff is missing. All right, that we can fix. So those ones we can just build, and we'll probably do it the same way. It's just a mix between this tile and this tile. So let's do this. I'm going to copy these out and merge them into their own layer and move it up. And then we'll just put that there. And then I'm going to take these guys, which is just one thing. Let me copy this and paste it. And we'll put this on top. And I'm going to get rid of this. And then all I need to do, if I... Oh, loud motorcycle. What we'll do is we'll just start deleting some of this inside piece and just see where we get. Like it might just need... It might just need that outer edge. Yeah, that's what we need to do. All right, so there we go. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Let's save this and bam, everything works. That looks cool. Hey, that's actually pretty neat. And now we can just do some pretty cool little level design stuff with it. All right, that worked. So what I'm just trying to think in my head real quick about how I would want to templatize this. So the thing that I don't know. I'll go back and come up with a better template later. I think now I can at least create a pretty compelling little level with it. The real question, what we're going to have to do is we're going to do this as its own separate thing and then save it out as a PNG and then let Pixel Vision 8 recut it up because the real sprites are 8x8. But, all right, what I want to do is let's get rid of this, set this to 100%, and I want to save this as the auto tiles. Well, first we'll save it as the block. Well, let's save it as auto tiles. Save. And that gave us the basic template. And now the order is a little bit better. I wish I had come up with a numbering system, but I'll deal with that later. So that's the first step. The next step is, can we actually replace this with browse auto tiles? And now we come here and I draw, it should look good. Now what you're seeing that why it's becoming purple is because we're the tiles are a little messed up. I wonder if there's a way that we can, let's clear this and clear this and then go to rule set. There are now two terrains. What I want to do is I'm going to delete this terrain. Did that really work? Or did I break everything? Son of a... Tell me I broke everything like an idiot. All right. I don't know why replacing that. Wait, what we need to do is we need to do a fill. There we go. All right. So now if we go to the rule set and we start drawing with green, we'll get it. What I don't like is I don't know why I can't change the browse auto PNG. I don't know why that created a new one. Save. There we go. Or not. Maybe it's the rule set uses the other terrain. Blah. What do we want to do here? Let's delete all this and then use this fill. Then go back here to this terrain. I think what we need to do is, let's save this real quick. I think we need to open up, that's the auto tile example. This is the sandbox. Let's open up the map, the rule set, and we're going to change this guy to auto tile, and we'll save it. I think because of the way that this stuff was embedded, it just creates like multiple instances of it. And then here in this terrain, we're going to come here and we're going to change this to the auto tiles. And that's the terrain, right? And then here is the rule set. There we go. Perfect. All right, got it fixed. All right, so I was just trying to figure out how I'd want to draw this stuff. Because then we could do platforms and other stuff. Well, I guess it won't be too terribly hard to figure this stuff out. Well, at least this is working right now. Save this. What I'm going to have to do is go into this rule set at some point and just figure out how this rule set works and redo it so that when you put down a single tile, it actually, like that you can actually paint with 8x8 sections of tile. It's actually kind of powerful. I have like a high level understanding now of how the auto tiling works in Tiled. It's so complicated. What I think what I would like to do is if you imported a tile map like this, let Pixel Vision 8 auto tile it for you. And I'm pretty sure that's what Flixel did, right? Like, I haven't looked at Flixel in 100 years. Flash. Flixel had this tile map and auto tiling. It's Flash. It doesn't work anymore. Anyways, all right, I'm like getting sidetracked here, but that's sort of what Flixel did. All right, so I think we're good to go now. I now have this basic template, and yeah, I just have to go through and like rebuild this stuff and clean it up. But I'm all right. I'm happy. Like, this is good. What I want to do is, I guess in the next Pomodoro, I want to take a break. And the next Pomodoro, we'll take a break, and then we'll wind up. I had to take a snack because I'm like starving. I'm still like I wouldn't say like I'm even jet lagged. I was in Europe last week, and I got back on Tuesday, and my brain's just like, what are you doing? So like, here's sort of my idea, right? Like, here's this like really crazy tile map. Let's resize the tile map, and let's just make it, well, let's do some math here. So if we did like calculator, we're going to do it at Game Boy resolution, so that's 160 multiplied by 8, well, 160 multiplied by 4. So that's 640. Oh, I'm an idiot. 160 divided by 8 is 20. Multiplied by, let's do 10 screens is 200. So, well, all right. And then 144 divided by 8 multiplied by 2 is 36. So what we want to do is 36. And then 160. I'm doing some math here, basically trying to figure out like how big I want the tile map to be, to the point of where it doesn't take forever for Pixel Vision 8 to render it, but that on the bot, like I'm gonna make it 2 screens high. so that the bottom, well, actually it needs to be 4 screens high. So Game Boy's resolution was 144 multiplied by 8. So it needs to be 3 screens high, which is 54. And then 160 divided by 8 is 20 tiles wide, multiplied by, we can just do 6 is 120. So here is basically what the tile map looks like. Let's just fill in the rest of it with empty. And there's some stuff that we're gonna, oh, actually, this will work out perfectly, but watch this. What we're gonna do is, let's save this, and we're gonna do save as, and we're gonna, actually, I want to I want to export as an image. And we're gonna call this tile map PNG. Include, I don't want to use the current zoom level. Only include visible layers. Export. Where the hell did I export that to? All right, I guess it went to the same location. Do we now have a tile map? All right, so now we have a tile map, and now watch this. So PixelVision 8 is going to automatically read the tile map PNG file and rebuild all the tiles for us. There we go. Oh, man, when this stuff works, it's so good. Oh, that's awesome. Can't believe that actually worked. All right, so now I can use tile to generate out PNGs that PixelVision 8 can read, and then ironically enough, turn back into a tile map, a tiled map. That's like really weird. But all right, so then we have a level. So now what we're gonna do is we'll probably box them out into different screens, and I'll sort of show you how I want to sketch it out. But then, man, this is gonna be a really challenging Ludum Dare. If I'm gonna do this endless runner, I don't know if I'm gonna get, well, I mean, we can keep things simple, but I don't know if I'm going to actually be able to complete this. We'll see. But that's okay. Actually, my wife was actually really cool about this the other day, but I was telling her like on the weekend, after I've been gone for like a week and a half in Europe, I'm like, by the way, this weekend I'm going to be doing Ludum Dare again. And she, you know, we're trying to figure out the schedule so that I can actually have some time to stream. And I was saying, like, I'm not stressing it because I might not even finish it. And she's like, well, why do you even do it if you don't think you're going to finish? And it's just fun. Like, even if you don't finish in a game jam, I think it's pretty cool and pretty fun. All right, so that looks good. What I was actually kind of thinking, what looks really cool is I might do this as the inverse. Instead of this being the top of the platform, I might use this as the background and then like decorate stuff inside of it. Because I like these circles, and for an endless runner, it's going to like add some motion to it. So let me look at the chats. I'm a game designer who's looking for an artist and a programmer. So wait, what game? Oh, sorry, I'm looking back at the chat. I'm really bad at looking at the chat. So Super Game Boy, what game engine am I using? I'm using a custom-built game engine that I wrote called PixelVision 8. And this is the Game Creator, which is a set of tools around making it easier to make PixelVision games. You can learn more about. I got to clean up my Twitch page, but there's 2 versions. There's a free version, and then there's a pro version. The pro version has the tools, although I'm thinking of changing that pretty soon. I would like everyone to be able to make this stuff with it. But there's also a if you don't want to just buy the straight up license, you can also there's a $1 a month for the pro license, which is sort of where I'm going to start going. Is just phasing out. I'm going to start phasing this out where basically it's just a lot easier and more affordable for people to buy. But the reason I wrote it is because I didn't like the way that Unity did 2D games, so I wrote my own 2D game engine. All right, what are we going to do? What's our plan here? So what I want to figure out is, let's do this. Let's save this as auto tile map. And we'll save this in the sandbox. Then I'm going to delete everything. And we're going to sort of map out what a screen looks like, and we're going to do some like high level stuff. So I'm going to just fill this in with basically it's an empty tile. If this was like an island the way it originally was, this would have been the water, and it's this blue. When we get to this, the green is what we use to basically paint with. So if I started drawing, you would see the levels sort of get fleshed out. Now what I'm thinking of doing is, oh cool, that didn't. Oh, it's so cool. All right, let's see if we can like map out what an actual, like what one level would look like. And I'll sort of show you what I'm thinking for it. Now, let's see, if the screen is 160 divided by 8, that's going to be 20 tiles, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, we can't do it to the edge. 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then the next is 144 divided by 8 is 18. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So what I'm thinking is that there are better ways of doing this. There we go. This would be the inside of a level. Yeah, I thought about giving it out for free for Ludum Dare. I think, but the next Ludum Dare I will do something for the pro version. But there's two things that right now it's just in beta. There's not enough documentation, so if you just picked it up and you haven't been using it right now, you'd have a really tough time. Like, just not even gonna lie about that. It's hard. The other is that the other side of it is that I think moving forward, I'm gonna change it up. So, but you know, there's a lot of people who are working on it with me for the art and stuff. So $1 a month sort of helps keep it going. All right, so here is one screen, right? And what we're going to do is I'm trying to just think of how I want to get this. How I want to get this blocked out. No, that's not working anywhere like how I wanted it to. The auto tiling while I'm drawing is slowing it down too much. So what we would do is, this is basically going to be let me do the auto tiling now. This is basically going to be the play field area. So okay, so that's the play field. Stinks like it can't figure out. it like can't figure this side out. Oops, I see what I need to do. Now I wonder if I can draw right to the edge and auto tile it. That stinks. I wonder if there's a way I could fix this so that it outputs. So Super Game Boy is asking what platforms can Pixelvision 8 work on? Well, it runs inside of Unity, so it could output to any platform that Unity runs. There's two ways of making games with Pixelvision 8 though. So you either use the game creator, which gives you Lua games, or you have to or the game creator can output to so there's some pre-compiled things for desktop and HTML5, but I might be losing HTML5 support. What I'm just trying to think of is this is like a little too high. So if I had calculator, 144 divided by 8, 18 multiplied by 3, 54, which is where I am, I need to nine 8 plus 9 is 27. The split between the two screens is going to be 27 high. So let's do this. Oh, that's brilliant. 20. What did I say? 27 high? Where's 27? 27 is there. Oh. What I'm trying to figure out real quick is I'm trying to figure out where why isn't anything working now? There's like these moments where like I just don't understand what the hell is going on in Tiled. All right, so what I wanted to make sure was that we are at 27. That's 28, so let's remove one more row. So what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to at least give you this this sense of there's some stuff above the player, and it's not just like this continual hallway. Although we'll see how much time I have with Ludum Dare and see. But long story short, what I'm doing is I'm trying to split this up into two different areas. The top area is where I'm going to copy tiles into, and as the player runs through the tile map actually loops. And what you're going to see is that once they get to the end of the tile map, they'll get to the beginning. And I can start laying out and copying out chunks of the bottom tile map up into the top tile map. And then it's going to happen so far in the distance that it's going to be sort of seamless. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a very big buffer at the top, but more so that I can have chunks of levels sort of at the bottom here. And I've done this numerous times in multiple types of games. This is a pretty standard way of doing it. What I'm trying to do right now is just create this sort of like visual buffer. And all right, there we go. So now here's what's going to happen. Like, I'm going to save this. Whoops, I don't want to select all. Let's save this real quick, and we're going to let's do this. We're going to export as an image. And I believe that should have saved as a tile map, or did it save as auto map like something stupid? Move the trash. So let's export as an image, and we're going to call this tile map PNG. Come on, Mac. There you go. And now, if we reload this in Pixel Vision 8, we should see the tile map gets rendered. Now there's a gap here, which we'll use to see when we're buffering by. But basically, as we run through, we're going to see this sort of edge until we get to, I guess that is the final. I don't think it's showing me the real final edge. Interesting. That might be a bug in Pixel Vision 8 because the image is there. Huh. I wanted to just do a screenshot of this as a issue, but I don't think it's showing me the full size, but that's fine. I'm not right now. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so it's not going to the edge. There should be a gap here to the edge. So now, unless, yeah, it looks like it's cutting out 16 pixels for some weird reason. I don't know why that's happening. Oh. Okay, here's what's happening. I'm an idiot. I calculated this to the tile map is too big for Pixel Vision 8 because I forgot. I'm actually, the tile map is 16 by 16. All right, let's do this. Clearly, I need to take a break and get some food in me because I can't think. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break. Quick break. Back at, we're going to do this at 11:20 Eastern. And we'll let the timer go. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Everyone go stretch or do something else. There won't be any commercials. And I'll be right back, and then we'll refix this, all the math, because my math is off, as always. I am back. So, where we left off, I screwed up my math, and I made this tile map way too big. So let's do this. Let's every accident is a it's a way to learn, right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna refill this out, and we're gonna redo this tile map. Now, let's come in here. We're going to resize this. If we look at a 160 screen divided by 16, that gives us 10 tiles. And we want to be 4 screens across. Excuse me, which is 40. And we're going to do 44. And I'll sort of show you why in a minute. I'm going to do gaps in between each of the screens. Then the next is 144 divided by 16 is 9. Multiplied by 3 is 27. Plus 3 should be 30. And we'll end up with something like this. Now, what did we say a 160 divided by 16? A 10... 10 by 9 is a full screen. So what we're going to do is let's a 10 by 9 area. I'm going to delete what's there, and we're going to paste in, we're going to fill this in and then hit auto tile. You guys can't, I'm doing like, it's hard to see because of the way that the tile does the layers stuff, but basically, I don't know. It's so hard to explain how this crap works. I sort of get it in my head, but I haven't figured out how to simplify it enough to explain to other humans. Technically, this should be one screen size, right? And if we copy this and go to paste it, that should be another screen. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm pasting out the rule set. So like here, if I get rid of the terrain, this will be a little easier to see, right? Then what we're trying to do is we want to do it to where it's a screen and a half high. And then we'll take this and we'll paste this and we'll put this here, 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 and here. And now if we turn the terrain back on, nothing is happening. And what we have to do is we have to manually tell it to auto map by hitting, I just hit A on the keyboard. And then we wind up with our screens. Now, I want to resize this map a little bit more. First off, I want to make this 45 and 31. And then let me just fill in this new empty space and fix the auto tiling. So what in essence what we're getting is sort of a screen and a half of real estate, high at least. And what we're going to do is we're going to stitch all this together and wind up with a I mean, right now I'm just doing it where you can sort of see what each screen represents, and we would sort of, the goal is that this top area will be the buffer, and then the bottom area will just sort of copy over, copy over, copy over, copy over, copy over, copy over, and that kind of stuff as you continue to run through it. Now, I thought it'd be kind of cool to build that basic logic. I don't think I'm gonna have enough time today to do that. But we're going to sort of get it started. So what we'll do is I'm going to... that looks bad. I'm not trying to draw a penis, really. But apparently that's what it feels like drawing. Let me go back to... No, I don't want auto crop. Let's go back to letting the auto tile while you draw. All right, let's fill this back in. This will be a little bit clearer in a second. What we're going to do is we're going to make this 1. Whoops. 1, 2, whatever. I'm not going to win. I'm not like trying to win an art award here. I just want you to be able to see 3, 4. Actually, what we could do is, I thought of an easier way of doing it. Since we want to, what we can just do is something like this here. Oops, I need to clear it. 1, 2, 3. You just need to see that there's some difference, right, between the platforms. But in essence, like I said, all I'm really going to do is copy this section of tile map and literally paste it here. Copy this and paste it here. What we might wind up doing is we might have some different variations and stuff, but the other thing that we need to do just to fill in the gaps here is actually... I see. It must go through like a lot of steps when it tries to fill in these templates. All right, so we would do something like... We would do something like this. There would be some sort of transition piece so that we could just tell when a tile is basically running out. Now, this is an error with tiled where it doesn't understand how to map this up. We'll clean this up later. But what we're going to go for are these 4 basic sort of template areas. So let's save this real quick, and I'm going to export this as an image. And we're going to save this as the tile map. And replace it, and then come back into Pixelvision 8. So if this got rendered correctly, we should see a... Oh, cool. So there's still a lot more room that we could do. I might actually wind up building some more templates. But here you can see we just have some like variation in the template, and we have this this ground area. Now, I'm not going to get into like a lot of the logic today. I think maybe tomorrow I'll try to build that. I don't know how this is going to work. I have someone coming here tomorrow to do some work on the house, so I might not be able to stream it, but I'll probably just write it anyways before Ludum. Let's see. But this is like the idea behind it. And as this thing goes through, what we would do is I would clean up the tile map. Let's I don't know, for like for a Ludum, I don't think it... I don't know, last time I got like heat for I didn't have enough levels in my game. Like 70, I like really worked hard on that. That one I was actually in Seattle, and I was like, I was running an event, and I was like dedicated to building a game, and I still didn't have like enough level variety. So I don't know what that really means to people, but let's do this. We're gonna double this map. So let's resize this map. It's 45 right now, so we'll make this 90 tiles wide. And we're gonna copy over this entire thing. Let's deselect the auto thing. And now we're gonna we'll paste this in. And then bring the tile map back and hit A to fix it. And now let's get rid of this selection. All right, I don't understand this shit. There we go. All right. Go back to auto map while drawing. Rule set. Why is it no longer drawing? I guess I'm only selected in one area. There we go. So I just need to, we'll just make more variations here so that we can tell each of the different sections. So this is going to be, what, 5? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. I'll clean this up later. Eight. All right, so at any point we'll be able to tell where we are in the map because of how many numbers of holes there are. And then that's it. Like, so what'll wind up happening is that we'll get some pretty interesting levels. And what I'm thinking is that because of how big the buffer is on the top, we don't have to like be right up on, like I can copy, like if the player is here, I could copy this here, and then when the player comes back around, just relaunch everything. And I don't have to like go 1, 2, 3, 4. I could like randomly skip to somewhere off the screen to paste these tiles in, and then leave some gaps in between, so we'll automatically get more variation. If you're just tuning in, I'm playing around with some auto tiling stuff. I'm trying to get my artwork in line for a. Well, for Ludum Dare, I just do the jam part. So we have some. I have some really great Mega Man style art called Jump and Shoot Man. And where's the artwork? And basically, what we're gonna do is I was gonna try to make a little endless runner a little endless Mega Man runner game. So I'm just setting up. I'm trying to just get everything organized before I start the game jam. So what would be really cool right now, let's see, it's 11:33. I have to stop by 1. I guess I just don't need to eat today. It would be cool to build out the basics of how this like endless runner thing is going to work. Let's see if we can prototype out a really rough demo for this. So what we'll do is let's save the tile map. Let's export this as an image. And then come back into the game creator and see if it loads it up. Why am I... What did I shoot? What did I save the image as? Oh, that stinks. I saved it as the sprites. That's not good at all. Crud. Well, that's fine. I can always replace that. These were the sprites anyways, so... Oh no, I had it... Good thing I opened the sprites up before I did that. Son of a... Image, crop, trim. All right, there we go. Let's do this. Let's save this to the right file this time. All right, Yes, we're going to replace the tile map. Let's go back to the game creator. Let's rerun this, and I just want to scroll to the end and see if this is within the Game Boy. Okay, so I think this tile map is a little too big. I don't think it's... Where did we end at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not terribly bad. I can fix this. Let's look at resizing the map. Basically, this is 90 by 31 calculator. Oh my God! Stop opening this. Like, I accidentally opened it up once, and now it'll never remember. There's the calculator. Jeez. All right, so that's 90 divided by 8. No, wait. Right, these are 16. So 90 multiplied by 16 is 144 divided by 8 should be 180. The tile map should be 180. I'm just going to resize the tile map. 180 is still within range. That's fine. 180. And then what was the height of this thing? 31 divided by 8 is 62. Also, I want to do an overscan of 1 and an overscan of 1. So overscan in Pixel Vision 8 allows you to it like trims the edges of the screen so that you can have, since everything wraps, if it goes off screen, there's no real sense of off screen. It'll at least give you a safe area to hide sprites and stuff. All right, so let's go back to the tile map and take a look at what we ended up with. Perfect. All right, that looks good, and this worked out well too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. All right, so what I was thinking of doing, this is basically broken right now. What I was thinking of doing was let's see if we can build out a really basic. What do I want to do here? Let's open up Atom. We'll close this out, and I'm going to close out Tiled, and we're done with this for right now. So this worked out cool. We actually got auto tiling working. This template wound up working out well. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this, and we don't need this. We now have a basic auto tile template. We don't need this. Move this to trash. I think we can get rid of this, but I'm not going to delete that just yet. We have the rules. We have the sprites, the sprite cache, and the new tile map. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to get it to where it renders the background, and it'll just keep scrolling. So this shouldn't be too hard. All we need to do is right now, as it is, if I just come in here and rerun this, we should just see the top left-hand corner of the screen, right? So what we should do now is let's set the scroll position. X, we're going to set it to 0, but the Y, we're going to do it to calculator. We could set it to 160. That should move it up, right? And what we're trying to do is we're trying to just figure out where the bottom edge of this is without seeing the top. So looks like we can subtract. How many rows do we? Well, actually, I lied. This should be 144 is really the bottom on a Game Boy. Minus 36. Let's just see where this nets us. All right, so that seems to work. What I'm looking to do is that white line will basically be the floor. And we're going to use those like circles as the that'll just be like some sort of background. So the player, what we could do is, I believe we should have the player sprites. Let's do this. We're going all in today. Let's build out some player sprites real quick, and we're just gonna get this guy running. So I could like do this now in my sleep, but we're gonna do local. We're just gonna set up a local frame equals 1, local frames equals where data. I want my sprites. There should be a isn't there a player? Player walk 1 and player walk 2. So player walk 1, player walk 2, right? And then we need a local frame delay equals 0.08 and local time equals 0. So all we got to do to make a very, very basic animation for the player is to do well, first off, we do time equals time plus time delta. Time delta is the time delta is actually the difference between each frame in milliseconds. Now, if the time is greater than the frame delay, what we want to do is basically set time back to 0, then do frame equals frame plus 1 if frame is greater than the length of frames, then set frame equal to 1. And then that should now do the basic animation. All we need to do to draw is called draw sprites. And let's do this. Local sprite data equals frames frame. How do you participate in Ludum Dare? If you basically just go to Ludum Dare, I'll Ludum Dare. If you go there, just make an account, and then once you make an account, you can either post that you're going to take part in it, or you just publish a game when the time comes. Let's see here. Sprite data. We want sprite IDs. We'll do 0, 128. This will be width. Draw mode. The offset is 0, false, and false. Basically what I'm doing is I'm telling it to only render on the screen and ignore the screen scroll. Right? So I believe this should work. Nope, 80. What did I screw up? Attempt to index a nil value. Sprite data, sprites. Sprite data frames. Frame. Oh, here's why. I need to basically load script SB sprites. Right? It just couldn't find the sprite data because I didn't load the file. There we go. Look at that dude run. Go, little guy, go. All right, so we're going to pull this out, and now here we go. So true. I wonder why it always takes me a minute to remember what the hell I'm doing here. Oh, right. Okay. I'm like, wait. It shouldn't use the scroll. Is it using the scroll position? Okay, yeah. Now it's offsetting it by the scroll position. I think, right? So let's look at our Photoshop file real quick. And what I'm going to do is clean up pixel art. We're going to test out that the auto map generation stuff works great. All right, so we want our player to basically be about here, which is height 192. I feel like something's off, but let's just, right now I just want to get this to, just sort of look right. And do this as like 100. (160 minus 8). Whoops. 160 minus 8 for the overscan divided by 2 is 76. Then 76 minus 8 is 68. That should be like close enough to middle. There we go. So yeah, so the one thing I noticed just by testing this out is that while I do like this inner green, we're gonna have to change our dude's background color. Let's see here. 25 is too much. All right. That's like close enough. I mean, I'd probably make it like something like 18. So he's like running right on that line, but that's our Mega Man dude. Let's do player walk with gun. All right, cool. So there's our player. What I wanted to do real quick was I was thinking like, should I shift the pixels over and just do a real quick palette? What I want to do is sprites, colors. So I just want to create a new palette for our guy. Oh, I hate Photoshop. All right, so what I wanted to do is I want to fix it where he is. We're gonna do this. This is the color map. Here are the colors. We're gonna increase this to 8, and I'm gonna take these colors, paste them here, and then we're going to swap out these two colors, I guess. Like what I'm kind of curious about is why Nothing's working. So what is this? 505050? How is this even working? I think I got a problem with the color map because the colors aren't matching up correctly. So let's just do this. Let's see if we can fix the color map real quick. Where were the colors? Fine, we can do this way. Do this. No, so that's that color. Is there no black? Is he not using black anywhere? White, light gray. White, light gray, and then this dark. So he's not using black anywhere. So that's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to, so we're gonna shift this over. Edit, transform, flip horizontal. Save this out. And now, when we go to draw him, let's set the color shift to 3. All right, whatever. I can repaletize him later. Transform. Flip. It might be 4. All right, there we go. I was going to flip this back. This should fix it and just make his... There we go. Now he's good. All right, so that's our little dude running, right? Basically, the way the palette shifting works in Pixel Vision 8 is that you define like sets of you define a list of colors. You can have up to 256 colors, and then what winds up happening is that you could shift it. So in this case, I shifted the colors over by 4, which should put it right about here, and that basically changed his colors to the next set. I feel like something is wrong with that, but I'm not gonna harp on it right now. What I want to get going is this notion that the background is constantly scrolling. So let's do this. We're going to create a new one called local speed, and we're going to make speed. We want it to move 5 pixels every frame. So what we're going to do is change the scroll position. Scroll position is going to equal the current scroll position, right? And then what we're going to do is after we set the current scroll position, we're going to take the scroll position X to equal scroll position X plus speed multiplied by time delta. We should do this a different way. Hold on. Local scroll position X equals 0. And we're going to do a similar thing here where what we're going to do is the scroll position X equals scroll position X plus speed plus time delta. But what winds up happening is since the scroll position can only be a whole number, an int, we're going to lose the fraction. And over time, it's just not going to move. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep a float of it off to the side. And then over time, we will it'll automatically round itself when we set the scroll position. What we should probably do is let's do it like this: local scroll position equals nil. And actually, we don't even need to define it. I love Lua. You can just do whatever the hell you want. So we're going to do local, we'll do scroll position equals scroll position. And then we're going to set the scroll position Y equal to 144, oops, plus 36 is 180, right? And then now on here, we're going to do scroll position dot X. I have a feeling that this is an int too. We'll see if this doesn't move it. I have a feeling this is not going to move, so we might have to just create that on our own. Yeah, we're going to make our own little table. So instead of just capturing the scroll position, which is going to return a vector of it, we'll just make a new x equals 0, y equals 180, and that saves us some time. So let's put this back up here, local. Eventually I'll get this right. I mean, it is quasi-difficult to code off the top of your head. I mean, I have some of this, like, a lot of this stuff is just done over time. Cool. So now that's just like, well, it's looping, so that's something. I want to set this guy to not use the scroll position. There we go. Now we're cooking. Speed is too high. So if you're just sort of following along, basically what we're doing is we're now, oh, there's so much like stutter. What is that flicker? All right, I don't know what that flicker is. Let me set this to 1. Wow, it's really flickering a lot. Why is it flickering like that so badly? It shouldn't do that. That's for sure. I don't know why it's actually doing that. Let me set the scale to 2. Wow. That is nasty. So there must be some bug in Pixel Vision 8. That's cool. Let's do this. Let's set this to 0. And now 144. I wonder if it's the negative 144. Maybe there's something with the way that it's like. So that gives us the bottom of the screen. It's interesting why like it shouldn't jitter like that at all. There's something in the update that it's just not drawing. It's not drawing correctly because all right, well, hey look, this is why we build games, so we could find bugs. Because what's interesting about this is like it's not redrawing the tiles, it's actually like just sampling the pixel data. So something is happening in the screen refresh and the buffer isn't catching correctly. All right, there, we got to the end of the screen and now it comes by again. So now we can actually see the player running and the map just sort of endlessly scrolling. Let's set this to 100 and just see if we can reposition him correctly. So make that 98. All right, so that's sort of the effect that I'm going for. It's not stuttering as badly, but that'll give us like a nice little like background, and the speed is sort of good. We would probably push him off to, let's set him to like 48. So now we are a little bit further back, and we can sort of have him just like, might move him back a little bit more. So there we go. All right, that works. So here's what we want to do. The next step is let's try to figure out how we can actually get him to, or get the background to copy correctly. So I'm going to increase the scale back. It doesn't seem like redrawing this frame is affecting it. It's just there was just some weird issue with the scrolling. I don't know. I have to look into why that happened. But all right. So now we're getting a little closer. So what I want to do now is, now I don't think I have an API that lets me actually copy a full set of tile data. But what I'm thinking of doing is this. On every I gotta take a step back and think of how we want to do this. All right, so my theory is every time a row of tiles goes off the screen, we're going to copy a new row of tiles in front of him. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change where the sample head is to the tiles below, and then we'll just start randomly sampling tiles. What does that actually mean? So like, let's take a look at like the PNG of the tile map, and I'll sort of walk through what I'm thinking. Let's close out all this stuff. Okay, so we're gonna have like a viewport, right? Like, let's say, well, what's 160 by 144? This is our viewport. And I think I can go to mask so it's a little clearer, right? So this is our viewport. And what we're going to do is, as we're drawing, right, like right here, let's say we're drawing right here, we're also going to be sampling one row of pixels, like this. And we're going to copy, or one column of pixels. And we're going to copy this column of pixels right here in front of, off screen, where the player can't see. And when we sample this, we're going to start at 1, and when we get to the end of a screen, we're going to choose a random number to go back to the offset. Now I'm looking here, and I noticed I screwed this up, this tile map up. I need to fix this real quick. Basically, I need to move this here. And then let's do this. Let's crop it, crop this image, crop. And what is this now? 1424 is 178. This math is incredibly important, so I can't fake this one. 178. So columns 178. Save. Because if I screw up this math, everything will get corrupted while I'm drawing. Did I not save this? If you're just tuning in, I'm just building the like basic foundation for a little Game Boy style endless runner in my game engine Pixelvision 8. Trying to get everything sort of ahead. I'm trying to do some work ahead of time for Ludum. Ludum is is normally you could do like the 48-hour game jam. Just do everything from scratch. I don't have time for that this weekend, so what I'm doing, I always do the jam part, which is 72 hours, and you can bring your own stuff and just have fun. So I'm just going to build my own little game over the week. I've been wanting to do sort of like an endless runner for a while in Pixel Vision 8, so this is a good opportunity to do that. So okay, so now we have our tile map. The math is correct, and what we're going to try to start doing is let's start copying a row of pixels, a row of tiles ahead of the player. So what we're going to do is we need to define, we're going to do this in update, and we're going to have to do this really slick. We can only do a row at a time because anything more and it would just like bog down the system. So let's do, we're going to do local total rows. And we want to capture, how many rows are we capturing here? So that's, height is 224, divided by 8 is 28. So we're going to capture 28, 28 rows. Or actually, we can just do rows. We'll do total rows. And we'll do tile, or we'll do selection, or we'll just do tile offset. And X is going to be equal to 0, right? Because we're going to start at the first one. And well, actually, we'll start at 1 because there's a little bit of an offset. And Y is going to be equal to the start position of where our selection is. So let's take a look. Our first tile is really this one. So that's 272. 272 divided by... okay, I screwed this up. This is, the tile map is set to, no, it's set to 16 by 16, right? I need to do my math. My math is off. Scripts, preferences. I need to fix the grid. So here. So what we need to do is, how many rows are there? All right. 224 divided by 8. 224 divided by 8. No. 224 divided by 8 is 28. All right, so that is correct. So we're going to do it here. We'll do tile selection. And this will be where we're actually capturing the tiles. Let's just set this to 1 for right now. And we're going to do width is going to be equal to 1. And height is equal to, what did I say, 28? All right, this is our selection. Now, what I want to try to just do is, I want to go through and read out all the tiles. And then, so let's do this. We're going to do local selected tiles. It's just going to be an array, or a table in this case. And we're going to do for I tile selection height. And what we're going to do is we're going to loop through the tile map and copy out the tile data from each one of these. Because the reason we need to do tile data, not just the tile sprite ID, is that a tile consists of the artwork, a color offset, which is used for changing color, which we can use to probably do some pretty interesting stuff with changing, like using this, like just doing palette swapping, and then also a flag. The flag is going to be important because we're going to use the flag to spawn objects, and to also we want to be able to spawn objects, and we want to be able to also know where things are solid. So we need to copy all this data along with us. Right now I'm not using it, but we're just gonna keep it anyways. All right, so selected tiles. We're basically gonna go selected tiles I equals, and what I want to do is, well, I don't even know if we need to select the tiles. Probably what we could do is local tile equals, we can get tile, and we're gonna get the tiles column. So let's do this. Tile selection X, tile selection Y. Now, if I remember correctly, tile has two things. If you just ask for the column and the row, you're just going to get the tile data. If you supply a sprite ID, a color offset, or a flag, you're going to actually change that value. So here we're going to get a reference to this tile, right? And now local off screen. Width equals 1 and height equals 28. Now this is sort of important because we're going to be doing two things at the same time. The first thing we're going to do is we want to be let's go back to our tile map here and take a look at this, right? So like if this is all right, so this is what our map is, right? And if we create a like 160 by 144 hole in it, basically we can now scroll through this, right? So let's say we're scrolling here. What we want to do is we want to read the tile map area off the screen, and as we read it, we're going to replace it with new data, and then. Yeah, it's going to be, what we're trying to do is trying to explain it. There's two things we need to figure out, right? When something is off screen, we're going to look at the tile map data to see if new objects need to be spawned. And the other is that we want to look and see, we want to redraw it with the new stuff. Hey, try my pants. Zoe Training Linda, great tutor. Cool, thanks. I'm glad you like my stuff, my Linda courses. Okay, so let's do this. Let's not boil the ocean right away. What we're gonna do is let's figure out where the off-screen selection is. And I just want to. What I want to do is on every update. Or is it every scroll position? All right, so what we need to figure out is the scroll position represents the left-hand side. Let's do this. We're gonna have to do some traces here, because what we got to figure out right now is where off-screen is. So off-screen selection. Basically, what we need to do is off-screen selection. Let's do this. Let's calculate. We only want to do this. Okay, so if we did this every single frame, what's actually going to wind up happening? Is that we're going to run it too many times. We want to make sure that when the scroll position, when a tile goes off screen, we are now ready to read the next block of data. So first off, at this point right here, we are simply just reading tile data. And in fact, what we wind up doing here is just adding this to I, and this is going to loop through a single column. row by row and read out its tile data from where the selection point is. Now, coming back here, what we want to figure out is, one, I want to run this, and I just want to see, this shouldn't take any performance whatsoever. It's a very short loop. It's really simple. The other thing that we want to do is, I'm going to write this data back now into the next area. And we're going to do off-screen selection. Now, this is probably going to break some stuff, but I'm not really worried about it right now. Let's just see. I just want to see what performance is if this like winds up running really slow. What we can, well, let's just run it. Let's see if this even works. It did draw something, but we're not seeing it. I mean, right now it doesn't look like there's any performance hit. We should probably just try to draw the draw text. Default. Let's see if this renders. And then I'll just read out the frames per second. Great. Move this to 8, or actually move this to 4 by 4. And we'll just, whoops, this is Lua. I don't remember what the, maybe it's this. Let's see if this works. There we go. Cool. So we're reading the frames per second. There's a little bit of like weird stutter that I was seeing, but it's nothing terrible. And again, right now we're just, we should be, well, we're technically doing it. You're not seeing it, but we're copying out the same exact data and pasting it right back in again. So if I was to remove this here, it shouldn't, you'll see, okay, there is a performance hit for it, but it's negligible right now. If we take a look, we're staying mostly at like 59 frames a second, right, when we're running our game. If we uncomment this code and reload it, every now and then it drops. Right now it's not seeming to be a problem. I think it has a lot more to do with like just where I caught the garbage collector. So let's see. What's next on the list? Let's see if we can, there we go. So that copies through. Let's see if we can actually get it to read different data. So if I was to copy, let's move this off by like 16. Let's see if it just corrupts the map. It might not be doing it in a place where we can see it. Because or maybe it's not doing it at all. I can't see all the tile map stuff, so that probably makes it a little hard. Let's do this. Let's just make this 0 and keep things simple. Right? Like this is the top of the map. And what I want to see real quick is, let's just change this sprite ID to 0 and leave this as +I. It might have just been drawing it to one tile that we miss. Yeah, okay, I did see it. Now we have to wait for the whole thing to loop back around. I did see the first row got redrawn. You'll see there'll be another gap, and then we'll get hopefully. All right, here we go. So it did draw something in there. So that's fine. Okay. So what we want to do in copying this stuff over now is it's really hard to like do this without like having a tool to see more of the screen. But now we should at least be in sync, right? If we move the off-screen selection, so like let's move the off-screen selection over by 5. Or in fact, what we can do is let's calculate the next position. So what I wanted to see, I remember now my train of thought. We can't see the, let me change the font. I'll just change the color on the font so we can see it. Okay, so I wanted to see, we're seeing like a little bit of performance hit, but nothing really crazy right now. It goes down to about like 55, right? What I want to do is, so if I got rid of this, we're only gonna copy over the pixel data when we actually need to. All right, so now it's just locked at 56. I swear it like just fucks with me. Great. Now it's fine. All right. We're getting a little bit of change. Let me clear it out and try it again. All right, so it is changing because we're redrawing stuff. What we want to do is this. We want to basically figure out what the scroll position X is, and I'm going to do this. Print scroll position X modulus 2. And let's just see what it prints out real quick. I'll have to load up the log file separately, but getting a phone call, which I'm 100% sure is fake call. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. Hey, who wants to speak to Elizabeth? Does anyone else get these like automated calls like all day long? It's fascinating. All right, I wanted to save out this Pomodoro, and what I was looking to do, I think I need to math floor. Let's clear doesn't really work. All right, let me rerun this real quick, and then what I'm trying to do is every time this equals 0, we'll basically draw a new. We're basically going to draw a new row, because that'll indicate that we've gone off screen. So okay, so if scroll position, whoops, let's do it here. If math.floor scroll position X modulus 2, then end. So now we are only going to draw this when a full tile goes off screen. And then after we're done, we'll update the scroll position. All right, so yeah, we calculate the new scroll position. We're going to floor it, and then we're going to see if it if this equals 0. So now what I want to do is print copy column. Let's clear this, let's run this, and See, we should be getting copy column, right? So now it's copying the column and copying the column every time we reach a new, every time the thing scrolls off the screen. So now the only thing that's really left is to sort of get the copying correctly. Nobody ever calls me. Well, you can have my cell phone number, because apparently all these like telemarketing people call me all the time. I'm just looking at the time. I'm thinking I might wind up just stopping here for the day, and maybe I could do a little. I'll do a little streaming tomorrow, but just to sort of clean this up, let's see. How do we know when we're off screen? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the what we're going to do is we're going to add, I don't want to do this twice, but I'm just going to do this for right now. Scroll position divided by 2. No, divided by 8. What I'm looking to do is figure out where the off-screen area is. So this, basically this will take the X value so like a lot of stuff has to go on in order to do this. I think I might want to take a step back and like approach this tomorrow when I have a fresh mind. But basically what we need to do, I'm going to delete this real quick. We'll make some notes. So we need to so we need to increase X position by 1 if X position is past screen template, pick new screen, new X start position. So what that means is that every time we copy a row of pixels, we need to move to the next row, right? So that would probably be down here, right? So we've copied a row of pixels. We're going to increase the the off-screen X position by 1. And then if for some reason that off-screen position is greater than the width, so we would do something like, so if off-screen selection X is greater than local template width equals so that's 160 divided by 8. So if it goes past 20, so if the scroll position goes past 20, then end off screen selection X equals 1. So this resets it. Need to offset by a random screen start position. So once we get this sort of working where we can copy over, so if we look at our image again, what we're doing is we're basically copying over this row of pixels. When we're done, we're going to here, then we're going to here, 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 here. When we finally hit the end, we're going to reset it back to 1. Now, in order to get it to randomly, in order to use any of these, we would just simply, instead of setting it to 1, we would randomly pick whatever the ID is at the beginning of a template, and if it counts past that position, we basically know we've gone off the screen, and we need to restart it again. I don't think this is even going to do anything, but let's just run it and see. There we go. Hey, look at that. So it actually, what you're seeing is it's just copying arbitrary data, and it's filling it up. Now we're not drawing it off screen yet, and we're not continuing that drawing. But that in theory is like the basic idea of it. I really don't know why it's flickering like that. I have a feeling like the draw calls are like overlapping. So, okay. So that's the beginning of it. What we'd want to do is keep that thing going, right? So, in essence, what we would do is off-screen selection X, we would increase the tile selection. Here's why. The off-screen selection X is always going to stay the same. It's the tile selection that we need to copy. Because this offset position X should always be the same value. We would just need to calculate now where the... See, now it's only drawing to one place. But we're getting closer. I think I have to take a break anyways. I got some stuff that I need to do. But tomorrow, I don't know, probably around like 10 or 11 Eastern, I'll start streaming again. Let me see what my schedule is like tomorrow. Do I even have any meetings? What am I doing tomorrow? Yeah, we can. I can do some streaming tomorrow. I just got to figure out. I have someone here doing repairs, so we'll see how that goes. But I think that's the basic idea. We'll go through. I'll keep coming up with a way to do this, but we're very close. It won't take very long to build out this buffering thing. And then the good news is that once we buffer out changing the background, what's going to wind up happening is the game will build itself. Once we're reading each of the columns from the tile map, it's not going to be very hard to just start saying like, okay, well, now I just got to design some levels, and then when something is off screen, as we're writing we're looping through each of the columns, we would look for flags, and if a flag is there, like it's like a bad guy or something, it would just spawn that bad guy, or it would spawn some sort of whatever entity. And then what I'm hoping to do is I'll have this little bit of like this little endless runner engine working well enough that when I go into Ludum Dare, it's just really about sort of adapting it to what I need. And then just spending 72 hours building out a little game. So cool. All right, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. I think it was a pretty good stream. I think we made a lot of progress. The highlights clearly being the tile map, the auto tiling stuff, using tiled, and just doing some basic, just laying down the foundation for redrawing the background correctly. So all right, let me quit out of all this stuff, and thanks again for watching. Hopefully I'll be able to get streaming by around, I don't know, hopefully by around like 10 the latest, and then we'll figure it out from there. So it seems like a good amount of people are watching. I have to get better at when I'm done sending all the people over to another stream. So I'll do that another time. But thanks everyone, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.